because the spread is so rampant right now, there's never a reason for you to have to leave your home unless you do need to go out. The safest place for you is at your home.
If we are going to come back as a state economically, jobs go up, we've got to keep the virus under somewhat control.
Yesterday, we had 16,678 cases. Since yesterday, we've had an additional 697 cases. Obviously, we've got work to do in the state.
As some of our parents used to say, sure, now some Republican governors are sounding the alarm on the coronavirus as the president aggressively ignores what is now the second spike of the first wave. Donald Trump declared the virus fading and dying out during his rallies, even as today the U.S. broke the record of new cases since the pandemic started. And the federal government is planning to cut funding for testing in states like Texas, where the numbers are spiking, though beware, a Republican senator from Texas has taken the unusual step of criticizing that, so it may change. With us again tonight, Dr. Irwin Redlener, a pediatrics physician by training, clinical professor with the School of Public Health at Columbia University, where he's also the director of the National Center for Disaster Preparedness with an expertise in pandemics. Doctor, a dual question. First of all, if I had told you we would reach the new record of new infections on the eve of the July 4th holiday, if I had told you that during the bad old days in March and April, would you have believed me? Second question, just as a taxpayer, where is the CDC? Where are the public health officials who seem to have forgotten there's a public out here needing instruction?
Yeah, well, it's been incredible, Brian. I think there were some people, of course, in my field who are very worried about this, the promises that this would somehow magically disappear in April. But most of us really thought that we'd be well into the summer, if not the fall, before we start seeing real relief here. So what we're having is a little hopscotching of the hot spots, so that, you know, obviously New York City was the hot spot of the world for a long time. That's diminished, but now we have upsurges that are very significant in Arkansas, in Texas, in Florida, and so on. So we're still deeply into the first wave, but with the spikes occurring in different places at different times. It's just extraordinary that we're not taking this more seriously. I shouldn't say we are not. Plenty of people are. When the president doesn't, though, he sets a really terrible example that has allowed people to wander around the streets now without sufficient distancing. Not wearing a mask has become a political symbol, kind of replacing the MAGA hat. And we have like very clear partisan political lines, believe it or not, around a terrible biological threat, which is what this COVID-19 is, Brian.
Doctor, there is a graphic making the rounds. You and I both saw it in the same place on social media. It has the added advantage of being true. It shows two trend lines. One of them belongs to the European Union. It's been steadily down and it's staying there. The last little bit of measurement is a further downward trend. But as we always like to say, the U.S. is number one. We lead the world. Our trend line is up. What did the EU do right that we can't seem to do? And do you blame them for considering banning Americans on incoming flights?
No, Brian, of course, who could blame them? They're seeing what's going on here. We're getting worse. They're getting better. Now, it doesn't mean they're out of the woods entirely. There'll probably be some upticks, I expect, in Portugal. There's been some reports potentially in Berlin. But if you look at those two trend lines, it's absolutely astounding how terrible we've done in controlling this virus. For one thing, we got a very late start in our testing, and we still don't have the national capacity to do the kind of contact tracing that we needed to be doing. And then you have a president encouraging people to not wear masks. We had 16 cases of people who were in a bar in Jacksonville, Florida, a few days ago. We're doing everything wrong, and I'm really heartened, I must say, to see governors in Republican states beginning to recognize this. It's really important, and the president's example is horrendous. just remember a couple of days ago in Tulsa, people squeezed together in the bottom portion of that arena. Nobody's wearing masks. There's fans blowing aerosols all over the place. It's just a horrible thing to watch, especially from a public health vantage point, Brian.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.